Today, we're diving into 5 real-life mysteries, hikers who vanished, only to be found years later. These are not movie plots. These are true stories that left families and investigators searching for answers for years. Ordinary people went for a hike and disappeared without a trace. The details are shocking, the outcomes heartbreaking, and the questions haunting. We'll break down each case, look at the clues, and try to understand what really happened in the wild. Let's start with the story of a woman who was heartbreakingly close to rescue, yet lost to the forest. Let's get into it. Geraldine Largay, a 66-year-old retired nurse from Tennessee, set out in 2013 to fulfill a lifelong dream, conquering the legendary Appalachian Trail. The trail, stretching over 2,100 miles from Georgia to Maine, is a test of endurance, skill, and spirit. For Geraldine, known to friends as Jerry, it was more than just a hike. It was a journey of self-discovery and adventure, a chance to prove to herself that age was no barrier to ambition. She was no novice. By the time she reached Maine, Geraldine had already hiked over 900 miles, braving unpredictable weather, rugged terrain, and the solitude of the wilderness. She was well prepared, carrying detailed maps, a GPS device, and enough supplies to last between resupply points. Her determination and positive attitude inspired fellow hikers she met along the way. On July 22nd, she was supposed to meet her husband George at a designated resupply point. It was a routine check-in, something they had done many times before, but this time, Geraldine never arrived. George waited anxiously, hoping for any sign of her, but as the hours passed, worry turned to dread. A massive search effort was launched almost immediately. Hundreds of volunteers, search and rescue teams, dogs and aircraft scoured the dense Maine woods. The community rallied together, determined to find her. Despite their efforts, not a single trace of Geraldine was found. The forest seemed to swallow her whole, leaving behind only questions and heartbreak. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. For 2 long years, Geraldine's disappearance remained a haunting mystery. Her family clung to hope, but as time passed, the chances of finding her alive grew slimmer. The story captured national attention, a chilling reminder of how quickly someone can vanish in the wild. Then, in October 2015, a forestry worker stumbled upon a weathered, abandoned tent deep in the woods, less than a mile from the trail. The discovery was both shocking and heartbreaking, reigniting the search for answers. Inside the tent, searchers found Geraldine's remains, along with her backpack, personal belongings, and a journal she had kept during her ordeal. The journal offered a window into her final days, filled with messages to her loved ones and a detailed account of her struggle to survive. It became clear what had happened. Geraldine had stepped off the trail for a bathroom break, a simple act every hiker does, but in the thick, disorienting Maine woods, she lost her sense of direction. Unable to find her way back, she wandered further from the path, her calls for help swallowed by the dense forest. Her journal revealed a story of incredible resilience. Geraldine survived for 26 days, rationing her food, carefully conserving water, and using every resource she had. She tried to signal for help with a mirror and left notes in hopes someone would find her. Each journal entry was a testament to her hope, her love for her family, and her determination to hold on. Tragically, she was so close to rescue. Her camp was hidden by thick trees and underbrush, making it nearly invisible from the air, and even from the ground. The unforgiving wilderness kept her hidden, despite the massive search effort. Later analysis showed that searchers had likely passed within a few hundred yards of her camp, unaware she was so near. The heartbreaking proximity of help, just out of reach, added another layer of tragedy to her story. Geraldine's story is a powerful reminder that even the most experienced and prepared hikers can be undone by a single wrong turn. The wilderness is beautiful, but it is also unpredictable and unforgiving. Her experience has led to changes in search and rescue protocols, and serves as a lesson for all who venture into the wild. For her family and the hiking community, closure came only with heartbreak. Yet Geraldine's courage, resourcefulness, and will to survive continue to inspire those who hear her story. Her final days were marked by hope and determination, a testament to the strength of the human spirit in the face of overwhelming odds. Geraldine Largay's legacy endures as a cautionary tale and a beacon of resilience for all who venture into the wild. Her story reminds us to respect the power of nature, to prepare for the unexpected, and to never underestimate the importance of staying found. Timothy Barnes, a 47-year-old hiker from Indiana, vanished in the Sierra Nevada in 2017. He was hiking the Pacific Crest Trail solo, last seen near Mather Pass, a place known for its beauty and danger. When he missed a check-in, a massive search began. Helicopters, ground teams, dogs. They found scattered gear, but no Timothy. For 2 years his family waited for answers. Then, hikers found remains near a remote alpine lake, far from the main trail. Dental records confirmed it was Timothy. Investigators believe he slipped on snow or ice and fell, a tragic accident in unforgiving terrain. Even experienced hikers can be lost in the vastness of the mountains. His family finally had closure, but the pain of loss remained. Timothy's story is a sobering reminder. Nature's beauty hides real danger. Preparation is vital, but sometimes fate is cruel. The wilderness can swallow a person whole, leaving only questions behind. In 2014, 2 adventurous Dutch students, Kris Kremers and Lisanne Froon, traveled to Panama for what was supposed to be the trip of a lifetime. Eager to explore the lush landscapes and immerse themselves in a new culture, they set out for a hike on a sunny April morning, unaware that their journey would soon become one of the most haunting mysteries of the decade. The pair were last seen at the entrance to the El Pianista Trail, a popular but challenging route winding through the cloud forest near Boquete. Accompanied by their host family's dog, they seemed prepared for a day's adventure. But when only the dog returned home later that evening, muddy and alone, alarm bells began to ring. What followed was a frantic search. Local guides, police, and even Dutch investigators joined forces, combing the dense jungle with search dogs and flashlights. Helicopters scanned the treetops, and volunteers scoured every path and ravine. Yet for weeks there was no sign of Kris or Lisanne, no footprints, no belongings, nothing to explain their disappearance. Then, more than 2 months later, a local woman stumbled upon a blue backpack sitting on a riverbank, miles away from the trail. The bag appeared almost untouched, as if it had been carefully placed there. Inside the backpack were personal items: sunglasses, cash, 2 bras, a water bottle, both of their phones, and a camera. Strangely, everything was dry and neatly packed, despite the rainy season and the muddy jungle. The phones told a desperate story. Over several days, dozens of emergency calls had been attempted, first with signal, then without. The girls tried to reach help again and again, but the calls never went through. The last attempt was made over a week after they vanished, suggesting at least one of them survived for days in the wilderness. The camera revealed even more chilling details. Early photos showed the girls smiling on the trail, but days later, the memory card held 90 flash photos taken deep in the jungle at night. The images were disorienting. Scattered belongings, bloodstains, and strange arrangements of sticks and plastic bags. Some believe these were attempts to signal rescuers, others see signs of panic or even something more sinister. Months after the search began, the mystery deepened. Bone fragments and a boot, still containing a foot, were discovered downstream from where the backpack was found. The remains were scattered, some bleached by the sun, others hidden in the mud. Forensic testing confirmed the worst fears. The remains belonged to Kris and Lisanne. DNA analysis left no doubt, but it offered no answers about what truly happened in those final days. The official theory is that the girls got lost after taking a wrong turn, that one was injured, possibly falling into a ravine, and that both eventually succumbed to hunger, injury, and the unforgiving elements of the Panamanian jungle. But the evidence left behind is deeply unsettling. Why were there so many nighttime photos? Who folded the shorts so neatly? And why were the remains scattered over such a wide area, with some bones showing unusual signs of bleaching? The case has fueled endless speculation. Was it a tragic accident, a case of foul play, or did something even stranger happen in the jungle? Locals whisper about hidden dangers, while internet sleuths pore over every detail, searching for overlooked clues. Their digital trail, those haunting phone logs and eerie photographs, offers glimpses into their ordeal but never the full story. Technology captured their struggle, but it couldn't save them. Even with modern technology and international attention, the Panamanian jungle kept its secrets well hidden. The landscape that drew Kris and Lisanne in ultimately became an impenetrable maze. Kris and Lisanne's story is a chilling reminder that even the most beautiful places can turn dangerous in an instant. What began as a simple hike became a nightmare that still haunts all who hear it. Some questions may never be answered, and the jungle's silence only deepens the mystery. The fate of Kris Kremers and Lisanne Froon remains one of the most perplexing unsolved cases of our time. 12-year-old Jared Negrete disappeared in California's San Bernardino National Forest in 1991. On his first Boy Scout camping trip, he fell behind and was told to wait for the group to return. When they came back, Jared was gone. A massive search found only his backpack, candy wrappers, and a camera. The last photo, a close-up selfie of Jared's face, scared and disoriented. For years, there were no answers. In 1999, hikers found his remains in a remote canyon 5 miles from where he vanished. The terrain was so difficult it seemed impossible for a tired child to reach alone. Theories abound. Did he get lost, or is there more to the story? The haunting photo remains a chilling clue. Jared's case is a tragic lesson in how quickly a child can vanish, even in a group. The wild is indifferent, and sometimes the answers never come. His story is a somber chapter in the mystery of missing hikers. Keith Reinhard, once a sports writer and later a novelist, arrived in the tiny mountain town of Silver Plume, Colorado, in 1988. He was drawn there by more than just the breathtaking scenery. He came to investigate and write about a mysterious local disappearance that had haunted the town for years. Silver Plume, with its weathered wooden storefronts and steep, shadowy peaks, seemed like the perfect place for a writer seeking inspiration and perhaps answers. Keith quickly became obsessed with the story he was chasing. He spent his days wandering the same rugged trails and dense forest where the earlier disappearance had occurred, always with his notebook in hand. Locals would see him jotting down observations, searching for clues and trying to get inside the mind of the missing man. The mountains, with their unpredictable weather and hidden dangers, became both his muse and his obsession. Then, one afternoon, Keith set out alone for Pendleton Mountain, determined to retrace the steps of the vanished man. He told friends he'd be back by nightfall, but as the sun dipped behind the peaks, Keith never returned. The town grew anxious as darkness fell, and the search for Keith began. Search and rescue teams scoured the treacherous slopes and thick forests for days. They found no trace of Keith, no backpack, no clothing, not even a footprint. It was as if he had vanished into thin air, swallowed by the wilderness that had so captivated him. Nearly a year later, hikers stumbled upon his remains in a remote, hard-to-reach gully. Nearby lay his .357 Magnum revolver, untouched by the elements. The official ruling was suicide, but the circumstances left many questions unanswered. Friends and family, however, refused to accept this conclusion. They remembered Keith as a man full of energy and excitement, especially about his new novel and the fresh start he'd found in Silver Plume. He had plans, dreams, and a deep curiosity about the mystery he was investigating. Why, they wondered, would he hike to such a remote and dangerous spot just to end his life? The location was so isolated, so difficult to reach that it seemed an unlikely place for a planned farewell. Theories swirled. Some believed Keith had suffered a tragic accident, perhaps slipping on loose rocks or getting lost in the fog. Others whispered about foul play, suggesting that someone didn't want Keith to uncover the truth behind the earlier disappearance. And then, there were those who saw something almost supernatural, a chilling parallel between Keith's fate and the very story he was writing, as if he had become a character in his own unfinished novel. In Silver Plume, Keith's disappearance quickly became the stuff of local legend. Townspeople whispered about the curse of the mountains, and old newspaper headlines kept the mystery alive. The story was stranger than any fiction Keith could have imagined. Sometimes in places as wild and untamed as these mountains, the line between reality and imagination blurs. For Keith, the story he was chasing may have become his own. The mountains keep their secrets well, and the mystery of Keith Reinhard lingers, unsettling and unresolved. Even now, searchers and storytellers alike are left with more questions than answers. In the end, the wild claimed both the writer and his tale, leaving behind a haunting reminder that some mysteries are never meant to be solved. 5 people, 5 mysteries, each swallowed by the wild, each leaving more questions than answers. These stories show how quickly adventure can turn to tragedy, and how the wild keeps its secrets. Even when remains are found, the mysteries often deepen. The wilderness is powerful, unpredictable, and demands respect. Which case shocked you the most? Do you have a theory? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more true stories. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.